February the 2nd, 2022. Uninvolved even within the uninvolved itself. No is not even no itself. No grasping even to the non-grasping itself. So don't be obsessed, don't be obsessed, don't be obsessed to be limited on and on. Disregard even from the disregard itself. Even a tiny bit, don't be delayed and lingering. Make it clumsy and waste of time. It's crystallized, creating cycle of becoming for a lengthy of time. That which is not realm of existence. That which has nothing to do with circling. Disregard even from the disregard itself, so that it will give ending to the cycle of circling, giving ending to the cycle of samsara. Everything is samsara. Even in one moment of thought, which doesn't purify itself, that thought turns into samsara immediately. One thought, one opinion, one moment of opinions and meanings, without purification of the meaning itself, it turns into samsara right away. When thought doesn't purify itself, it becomes samsara within itself. Disregard even from the disregard itself. Don't interpret further. That which is not samsara, if one interprets it, it will become samsara immediately. Uninvolved even within the uninvolved itself, well with it. Don't interpret further. Otherwise, it will turn into samsara of opinions immediately. That which is given ending to, that which is given the ceasing to. Don't interpret further. Don't explain further. Therefore, there is no need to begin anything further. Otherwise, it is possible to enable for ending. Being obsessed to involve with thidthi, with opinions and meanings. Being obsessed to involve with deludedly knowing and seeing. Therefore, it turns into the whirlpool, that which has nothing to do with the involvement. Disregard even from the disregard itself, that which has nothing to do with involvement at all, because it's uninvolved even within the uninvolved itself. This will give ending to help samsara very well. When the interpretation continues further, explaining further, it turns into samsara within itself. Disregard even from the disregard itself well. So that it will be obsessed with just beginning and ending on and on. Disregard even from the disregard itself, well with it. Naturally, it will not be about attempting to begin or to end. Naturally, it will have nothing to do with anicca or not, dukkha or not. The anatta is not relevant to itself as it is. Bad habit, liking to interpret further. That which is given ending to, instead, there is bad habit. This is the habit of always using opinions, always interpret further, always amplifying further. That makes it circling. This is not that one is unable to save oneself. Actually, is unable to save oneself from the delusion. The ending that is given turns into unending. How many Buddha eras have passed, huh? The ending has given, however, is made unending. Is make it circling instead. It's not about grasping, but it's being grasped. Let's end the cycle of Samsara of Thidthi, of opinions, all the circling with knowing, seeing, with thinking and recalling, and the fabrication. The avijja sankhara, the delusion to fabricate, by the opinions, by the insight and knowing. Knowing that fabricates itself. Uninvolved with knowing or not knowing, so that it's possible to enable cutting the deluded knowing. There's merely the obsession to maintain the knowing, to be deluded to the knowing, to add more knowledge, and to be attached to the knowledge. This continues to be scattered endlessly. Disregard even from the disregard itself. This sentence already purifies itself. There is no need to add more. The sentence that is not becoming samsara within itself, there is no need to add more, there is no need to amplify further. Don't add more piles of the garbage of Thidthi, of opinions, on top of that which is given ending to. Otherwise, one will be in trouble, deludedly circling within one's own Thidthi, within one's own opinions, which will become karmic difficulties through such a Thidthi across eons of times. Don't use involvement towards something that is not about involvement. Disregard even from the disregard itself. This is not to watch the Buddha footprints, handprints, Buddha relics, Buddha's hair, this and that, arm bowls, robes. This is only the temporary appearance of the Buddhas. The temporary assumed up is not about something to be grasped within itself. It's unattached within itself. Therefore, don't be attached towards something that is non-attachment. Don't try to be attached towards something that is not about attachment. The anatta is unattached to itself as it is. The anicca is unattached to itself as it is. There is no need to extinguish the suffering. The suffering is unattached to itself as it is. So don't be inappropriately extinguish the suffering. Otherwise, the attempt to extinguish the suffering will not extinguish itself. Listen well. Listen to something that is giving ending to the listening itself. disregard from the disregard itself, then there will be no one that is beginning or ending. It will not become the attempt to begin or to end at all. Naturally, it will not become something within beginning or ending. Well to disregard even from the disregard itself. Don't use the trash of opinions and meanings to dominate anything. Don't add more. Do not reinforce anything. The sentences that purify themselves, ending within themselves. Don't create a circle from these sentences. Adding more to it, increasing it, circling with it. It will turn into karmic difficulties within opinions across Buddha eras. As it will happen that in any Buddha eras, one will use just one's opinions in regards to the Satya Dharma. It will always happen in such a way. Understanding or not understanding, it's impossible to use it. Why being obsessed with something is in or not, on and on. Disregard even from the disregard itself, then it will not be about something within understanding or not understanding something. Don't be stuck with just Dharma appreciation or rejection of Dharma. Uninvolved even within the uninvolved itself. Don't be obsessed to circle within Dharma appreciation. Don't be obsessed with profoundness or shallowness. Don't be obsessed with just faith and disfaith. Don't be obsessed. Don't be obsessed. Don't be obsessed with randomness. That which is given ending to, when is added further, is unending. Once disregard even from the disregard itself, there's no need to add further. Ending is accordingly. It will follow deliberate cut through accordingly. Constantly form up the essence of that which is disregard even from the disregard itself. Such a thought purifies itself. It will give cutting to the delusion of drowning, sinking, and being drowsy. Such a thought gives ending to itself. It makes itself a conclusion towards ending by itself. The thought that cuts through itself by itself. Constantly help giving ending for the internal samsara and for the samsara as a whole. This is called the Dharma reminder that cuts through itself. It is not about the act of cutting something, but the mighty force is greatly. By the compassion and the great compassion itself, the Anupap or the mighty force of helping through unwinding and releasing and cutting for samsara. It is greatly. And it is automatic.